Hi class, this is Steve again, and tonight we're going to talk about Chapter 3, which really deals with the questions, the fundamental questions of philosophy, and that is who or what are we, and why are we here? Now again, I'm not going to try to summarize the entire chapter for you, because there's so much detail there, but let me try to take both parts of the question and try to give you some differing views on it. The first question is, who or what are we? He gives the author gives a pretty interesting analogy, the avocado and the artichoke. And I know some of you were struggling with that a little bit, and as far as trying to understand that. It's really quite simple. The avocado, if you've ever looked at one, if you cut it open, right in the middle is this huge seed. And that, in essence, if you plant that seed, would eventually produce more avocados. So what you have is, you have this fruit, and when you cut it open, what's revealed is the inner part of it, the thing which has enough in it to recreate itself. The artichoke, on the other hand, is nothing more than a bunch of interleaving kinds of leaves. So it's almost like, well, it's actually part of a thistle. So if you were to peel back each layer, each leaf of the artichoke, you'd come up with nothing at the end, because the root is really the heart of it, but it's away from the fruit itself. So she uses these two pictures, an avocado and an artichoke, to try to explain different religions' perspective on who or what we are. The Christian view, the Jewish view, both see the avocado view. So, in other words, Christians and Jews, the Hebrews, believe that there is far more than what we have, what we see on the outside. In other words, our essence, our very being, is found within us, which what we call a soul in a person. So it's not, you or I are not defined by who we are. For example, my name is Steve. I was born and raised in Kentucky. I'm married. I have kids. I have a dog that I don't like. All these different things are characteristics of Steve, but they are not Steve. What is Steve is inside, in a figurative sense. It's what comprises me, what makes me a unique person, and that is referred to as the soul. So Western thought, the Judeo-Christian thought, is that there is an essence, a very being, a soul, that just like the avocado, there's a seed, a complete entity within us that makes us unique. Some Eastern thoughts vary on this. Well, let me start with Islam, which is quickly becoming not so much an Eastern religion as it is both Eastern and Western. But they too believe that there is an inner core, that there is an essence to mankind, that, well, all of Western thought believes that man is essentially the ultimate creation, a little lower than the angels, as the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament both describe. But so we're the ultimate creation, and by being the ultimate creation, then what we are is far superior to anything else that is. Well, Eastern thought takes that a little bit differently. Buddhism, for example, also, well, no, not really. Buddhism actually sees life as what it is. So we are born, we live, and we die, and that's it. That our essence, what makes us up, what is actually us, is not something found as a unique characteristic in us, but nothing more than part of the cosmos. So in other words, what is out here in life, and the energy that makes life, is really all one thing. And what you and I are made of, for that period of time in which we are living, are comprised of some of this good stuff. It's kind of like in Star Wars, the Force be with you. It's like this overriding force in the universe or in the cosmos now is dispatched into individuals. But when individuals die, then that essence becomes back part of the cosmos. So that's Buddhism. Hinduism, though, takes almost a Western slant to it. They believe that there is one essence called the Atman. And you may have read about that, and hint, hint, I think that'll be a quiz question too. But the Atman is that essence within us. It's kind of the avocado view, where there is an inner core. But what's unique about this inner core is that when we die, it is reincarnated. So this soul that we have, this Atman, this essence, is what becomes, or continually lives, perpetually lives, but takes different shapes as we're reincarnated. Now, I had a boss once who, Western mind, grew up, born and raised here in the United States, grew up a Catholic and all that, and she came to believe in reincarnation. And what she had learned from it was that, or what she believed in it was that there was just one being, that you and I are unique, but in that uniqueness we continue to live, and we then manifest ourselves into different beings. So you've all heard stories about people who have had dreams of a time long ago, or they've been hypnotized and can speak of events that happened many, many years ago, where they believe that they had lived and died and now become reincarnated into the person. So that's Hinduism. It fundamentally believes that we are an avocado. Again, where Buddhism looks at us more as an artichoke with nothing really on the inside, but yet everything at the same time. So Buddhism, big cosmos energy, the force be with you kind of thing, and it lives in us during our lifetime, but then when we die, it again becomes part of the cosmos, part of the energy that's within our universe. Taoism is pretty interesting too. Taoism holds that that we have this essence, but this essence, hang on a second, let me check something. I want to make sure I tell you the correct thing here with Taoism, because it's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, Taoism holds that that there is this energy or life force that flows through us. So imagine, if you would, like our circulatory system with blood running through us, that there is likewise a power, an essence that also runs parallel to the circulatory system, not literally parallel, but runs like the circulatory system, in which this power flows, and this power is called Chi, C-H'-I. Many of you have heard a lot of these words. Chi, which is often used, if you like Kung Fu movies, for example, they often use that word as they're getting ready to beat somebody up or something. Nirvana, which is a state of utter bliss, that where this chi becomes fully vested, fully bloomed within the person. So you reach a state of nirvana. So there are some differing views on what we are or who we are. But the next question is probably even more important, is why are we here? And at the end of the day, the author of our textbook comes to the conclusion that it really depends. It depends on what you believe. If we believe that the human being, the person, is the ultimate creation, that we are the pinnacle of creation, and that we believe in ourselves that we have an essence to us, a soul, Atman, what have you, the avocado seed. If we are that, then our purpose in life may be manyfold. If you're a Jewish person, it's to worship Yahweh God. If you're a Christian person, it's to worship Jesus Christ, with the goal of following after him and being like him. And then when we die, the soul that we have goes to a heavenly place. Now, Plato also believed this, by the way, except that his thought was that heaven was really the real reality, and that what you and I are here on this earth is not real reality. Remember, if you would, a chapter or two ago about Plato in the empty cave, where they were all staring at a wall, and that's the only way they could look, and all they would see in it were shadows from behind them. Because of the fire that was there, these other people would walk by and the shadows would be cast on this wall. So Plato says we're like that. We're seeing shadows of reality and not the real reality. So, Plato held to this sense too, that our purpose in life, it depends on what we believe, but his rationalism said that ultimately that our purpose is to understand ourselves and to come to full reality, to come and understand what reality really is. Hinduism, interestingly enough, what is your purpose, is to become a better self each time. So as you do good things in this life, and then the Atman becomes reincarnated into another body, that we develop even more. So through each iteration of our reincarnation, we strive to become a better and better person. So that's that essence. Buddhism believes that because we ultimately die, that our purpose is to live a good life, a full life, but in that life, when we die, and our essence just simply becomes one. So there's a sense of interconnectedness. Just like Taoism, there is an interconnectedness that Buddhism and Taoism has, that we are not unique, but we are simply part of the whole. So when you think of it in terms like that, then what we come to see is not that there's not a real purpose in life, but our purpose in life is to live a full and good life, because once life is over, there's really nothing else. Our essence just becomes part of the grand essence. So what our purpose is here on this earth really depends on what our fundamental belief is of what we think we are, or who we think we are. And each one of you, each person has to at some point wrestle with that, and wrestle with what they believe, why they believe it, who they think they are as far as their essence, and that would then drive what their purpose in life is. I know many people, as you do as well, and some of you may be this way, where you believe that this life, that there is nothing else, so live it to the fullest, have fun, do all the things you want to do, and at the end you die. Other people believe that as a Christian or a Jew, that it's to worship God and to live a good life, and that ultimately our soul would be in heaven or in the presence of God. And so I don't know, I hope all that makes sense. All of this was covered in the book in much better detail, but I wanted to just give you a broad brush stroke of how I understood the content, and how through the years as I've wrestled with these questions, the conclusion I've come to is probably different than many of you, or some of you anyway. And I won't go into that, because my job isn't to influence you into believing a certain way. My job is to expose you to the material, get you to think critically through it, and then from that critical thought, help you derive your own solutions. So anyway, I hope this helped a little bit, and we'll be talking to you soon.